1,000 rand endaweni yokuba babhatalwe i-5,000 rand. Ngeso sizathu ke sicela uba lo mba ujongwe. Enkosi.
Greetings to you all, Chairperson, members of Parliament, and my learned colleagues. I will mainly speak on safety. The bill provides an overall of the safety and health system in our railways and provides legislated for inspectors to inspect and seize material that pose hazard to the safety of our people and of the railway itself. Care must be taken, however, to ensure that this provision is not used to target informal traders. We have used the railways to make a living over the years. We have seen that already in some areas. Instead of focusing on safety, PRASA has recently put a ban on church services in trains. What has lifting workers' spirits before work to do with safety? Because on the church trains, they get to be uplifted, they go to work revived. So now, safety yenza ingena ndawo into yobana kukhutshwe abantu abathandazayo abaculayo so that they can get to work bonwabile. We should focus more on safety than focusing on people trying to uplift themselves, trying to get to work motivated and healthy. So, Chairperson, I think lento kufuneka niyithathele ingqalelo, niyijonge, ningafocus on ukucinezela abantu more than ukulungisa ingxaki esijongene nazo on safety. I thank you.
Greetings, Chair and the panel. My name is Atenkosi Mkweto Chanda. Kufuneka kuqwalaselwe kumba ke yoku ababantu bebethengisa ngaphambili bethengisa kwizitishi zololiwe. Njengoba ukuthi ufanele zipheliswe ke. Nakulento bakuye kwapheliswa inkonzo abaziqhubayo xa abantu besiya emsebenzini befuna uzikhuthaza xa besiya emsebenzini. Ndiyaqonda bayona nto balekileyo ifanele ukwenziwa ukuthathwe ingqalelo ngokhuseleko kunoba kupheliswe inkonzo abantu abazenzayo kumakhareji xa bekhuthazana beye ecaweni besiya emisebenzini. Enkosi.
Molweni igama lam nguSiyabonga Phalo Gida, living with limitation ye blindness apha ecaleni kwam nguzukiswana yakhe ondiasistayo namhlanje kulo msebenzi siwenzayo. Into yokuqala esingavumelaniyo ngayo yinto yokuabolishwa kwamapolisa asezitreyinini. Uyaqaphela itrain ngoku zimengxe because kaloku kukho abantu abakhawula intambo benza yonke into le yokuvandalize i-infrastructure. Now, i-safety inspection asivumelani nento ba yenziwe from 8 kusasa kuthi kuyagqitywa ngo5. Sicebisa into ba i-safety inspection mayenzwe 24 hours because we are limiting the safety facility thina mayenzwe ngexesha elithile. We must always keep the railways safe. Ushishino phakathi ezitreyinini ngabantu abafundiswe abalifundeleyo plus ne-church services into yokuphiliswa kwezo zinto kube rongo kuba lo xa beshonyayezwa abantu ekuseni baba revived umzekelo afika asebenze kakuhle emsebenzini laa nto was assisting communities. At the same time it is very much important into yoba kufocuswe kwiinto ze-safety kungajongwa izinto ezincedisayo zichithwe kungafocuswa ku-safety. I-issue ye-board members ne-selection ne-nepotism, we disagree with it. I-ANC mayingasebenzisi i-majority. Instead, let us inclusively involve zonke political parties xa kuxoxwa la mcimbi. Now, i-privatization yenantsika ye-train asivumelani nayo. Khumbula kaloku i-train iyasubsidizwa ngurhulumente and abantu abaninzi, more especially Africans and blacks, basebenzisa i-train kukhwela baye ku-communities baye emsebenzini. Urhulumente xa isubsidizile iba cheap indlela abakhwela ngayo babheka emsebenzini. Itaxi, i-private business umzekelo ziduru kakhulu kuba lokazi azifani netrain. Itrain yona iyasubsidizwa. Le bill sizayisupporta ke kakhulu. Ukuba ngaba into eyenzekileyo ke baqiniseke into yoba is going to be into ye-train is going to be efficient, ibe safe, isebenzisane nabantu and ayikho privatized. Enkosi.
Is it fine now? Greetings, Chair. My name is Siabonga Palo Gita. We do not agree with the issue of police in trains because it leads to dysfunctionalities in the train, and as a result, we would like to see the police visibility due to the criminal activities that recurrently occur. And secondly, safety. We do not agree that the inspection or the monitoring occurs only between 8 and 5 late, and therefore we request that it be a 24-hour operational system. Pertaining to businesses and church services, I think those who are privy must be allowed to conduct businesses and church services for issues that can be pinned on security and safety. We also disagree with the appointment of board members, particularly because the ANC uses its majority stance to appoint board members. We also do not agree with the issue of privatization for the issues or purposes of cost efficiency, and owing to the fact that if it is governed by the national government, it will be subsidized. And lastly, we will support the bill if train issue is a multi-collaborated one. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Lo uthethayo Ubuntu Mzileni from Ward 31, Buffalo City, here in the Eastern Cape. We welcome the broad objectives of the bill, but the abolishment of the railway police has led to serious problems in ensuring safety on South African railways. As a result, there has been a dramatic decline, not only in the safety of the passengers, but also in the ability of PRASA to safeguard critical rail infrastructure. We are pleading with you, Chairperson, to return the railway police over and above the private security that is normally outsourced by the government. But for more effective security and accountability, it will be wise to insource the private security. We welcome the broad objectives of the bill, but with the hope that the privatization of the rail is not sneaked in this bill. We cannot allow a situation where the government sells or privatizes rail for two simple reasons. One, the majority of South Africans are poor and do not own cars. They rely on public transport, which is subsidized by the government, except for the minibus taxis. Private transport is expensive. Taxis are convenient but expensive as they are also privately owned. Taxis are not subsidized, yet they are currently the only reliable public transport in South Africa. We would welcome this bill if the trains were fully functional and moving people efficiently. The rail we are talking about has collapsed and people are solely dependent on taxis to commute to and from work. Maybe today we should be talking about how South African government can fix the collapsed rail system and its infrastructure. How does one clean, paint, and secure a house that does not exist? Thank you.
Greetings to the Parliament, the community. My name is Ubuntu Mzileni, Ward 31 in Buffalo City. I support ndiyawuxhasa umthetho ilwayo. Into endizawufuna ndithethe ngayo kukhuseleko loluntu. Ngoba ke ndingacela nje ukuthi kubuyiselwe amapolisa ngaphezu kokuba kukhona konogada bakucala, kodwa ke ukubuyiswa kwamapolisa kungongeza ukhuseleko xa ngaba besebenzisana nonogada bakucala. Ngoba ke into enexhala ngayo ukuba kuye kwathengiswa ololiwe benziwa babe lishishini labucala, izawubuya ibethe thina loo nto leyo, ngoba abemi beli bayahlupheka. Kuba nzima ukhupha imali ukuba babhatale abasebenzise iteksi, ngoba iteksi lishishini labucala kwaye liyatya epokothini. Ndisamile ukuthi ke ndiyawuxhasa nomthetho ilwayo, kodwa ke ndingawuxhasa ukuba ke kungaze kubuyisele ololiwe babuye basebenze. Singathethi ke ngendlela, kodwa ke nje babuyisele ololiwe baqhubeke basebenze. Ndingawuxhasa lo mthetho. Enkosi.
Ndicela ungasondela ozawuthetha, don't worry, ndifuna nje ulungisa or make this special request. If possible, if we could not repeat the things that have been said, I think we will minimize the time and allow as much more people who would like to contribute as possible. That's just an appeal, and I don't want to limit you. But if something has been said and said again, saying it again for the fourth time might not change much to it. But I don't want to interfere or intimidate your input. It just happened that I wanted to speak just before you spoke. So please, Kubeka Put.
Ndizibuyisele nomindlini ngumkhululi wakwaDlevu Bosman luthethayo from Ward 50 apha eBuffalo City. Mandiqale apha kula area ndihlala kuyo, we are surrounded by very poor people who depend on farming and who also pride in selling fruits and veg ezindaweni ezifana netrain ezi. So ibisisicelo sentobana it could be also included in the bill entobana people who are selling veggies and fruit as training bafumana permit zothengisa pha kweza train, and bangachargewa imali to make eza permit because most of them are indigent. Bazazifumana phi imali zeza permit? And sitsho nje, I'm also a member of African Farmers Associations of South Africa. So, critical kakhulu loo nto leyo into yobana abantu bethu bakwazi uyothengisa phayana. I also want to challenge clause 27 apha kwi-bill no clause 63. U-27 uthetha nge-involvement yento yobana xana one bazawufumana i-funding from parliament and then banako nabo to fund themselves ngokuzifundraisela. Ndibuxhalaba ke kuba siphahlwe ngamasela. Mna as a business person, I don't understand why I should go and fund an institution efundwa iParliament unless I'm promised something to gain. So we are opening a loophole phayana yoba mabazifundele. iParliament mayifunde fully le institution. Ingadepende kum nebusiness yam because le mali for uba ngaba ndifuna uncedisana nam kwiinto ze-tax ndisemyisa kwi-NGO. Xa ndiyisa kwi-institution partly funded by iParliament, ndivula ithuba lento yoba what's in it for me because izinto ze-tax reduction ndingayifumana noba ndinoya kwi-NGO yasekuhlaleni. And then clause 63 uthetha nge-involvement ye-minister kwi-issues ze-infrastructure. Ndibuhlungu ke just apha across kule rail lapha bakhe idonga le 28 million pha endinolaka nge-100,000. Xa be-involve kwizinto ze-infrastructure, the very same thing is going to happen. Ndizawuya kumalume wam ndithi ndiphaa kwibhodi ndi-involve phaa kulaa nto ye-infrastructure, sakha amadonga sithini sifumane iimeko ezifana nezi le yenzeke apha nje recently just before i-conference ye-ANC. Idongo onolenza nge-100,000 lenziwe nge-28 million. So andiqondi into yokubana izawusiphuhlisa kakuhle as South Africans into yobana si-involve i-ministers. Rather we involve the board and all political parties so that kuscrutinizwe all the processes pertaining to the issues as infrastructure that happens at the railway station. Thank you very much.
Greetings, everyone. I am Kululi Levu, bossman from Ward 1550. Where I stay, there is a poor living condition and most people are actually poor. And largely people rely on farming by selling vegetables and fruits. And my request is that those people be accorded permits at no cost. And I would like to make reference to clause 27, which pertains to funding from Parliament. And my worry is that we are engulfed by thieves or misappropriators. And also I would like to make reference to clause 63, in which it states that the minister will be involved. And I would like to indicate or underline that if that is the case, ordinarily ministers or the members would claim exorbitant amounts of monies, whereas the infrastructure does not reflect such. Thank you.
Manje bulise kwesihlalo namalungu weParliament. Igama lami nguXolile kaSitsili. Ndiphuma apha eMdantsane Ward 24. Ibill lena okanye umgaqo lo uyilwayo siyawamkela wona. Kodwa kwami kokufutshane uMzantsi Afrika ujongene nesibetho sokurhwaphilizo nokucalulana. Siyahlangabezana nemeko apho amalungu ebhodi atyunjwa ngokusekwe kusondela kwawo kuye kunye nobudlelwane nenkokheli ezithile zopolitiko. Sinoluvo lokuba kukho into ekufuneka yenziwe ukuze kuthintelwe urhwaphilizo nokucalulana. Sibonisa ukuba ukuze kuthintelwe urhwaphilizo kunye nobudlelwane obusondeleyo Ukubandakanyeka komphathiswa ekujunjweni kwamalungu ebhodi kufuneka kuchithisiwe kwaye onke amaqela ezopolitiko kufuneka athathe inxaxheba ekwenzeni ukhetho lokugqibela. Umbutho olawulayo akufuneki usebenzise ubuninzi okanye amalungu wawo obuninzi kukhetho lokugqibela kumalungu ebhodi. Kodwa ulwazi kwicandelo likaloliwe kufuneka luqwalaselwe. Siyazamkela injongo ezibanzi zalo mthetho uyilwayo kodwa ngethemba lokuba akuzunyengezwa ukuthengiswa kweziporo nololiwe kumacandelo abucala kulo mthetho. Asinakuvumelana nemeko apho urhulumente athengise okanye enze iziporo zabucala ngezizathu ezibini ezilula. Uninzi lwabemi boMzantsi Afrika bahluphekile kwaye abanazimoto baxhomekeke kwizithuthi zikawonke-wonke ezixhaswa ngurhulumente ngaphandle kweetekisi. Isithuthi sabucala siyabiza, iitekisi zifanelekile kodwa zibiza kakhulu njengoko zizeza kwabucala iitekisi. Azikafumani inkxaso-mali kodwa ngoku kuphela kwezithuthi zikawonke-wonke esithembele kuzo apha eMzantsi Afrika. Enkosi.
My name is Xolile Sithili from Tanzania, from Tanzania in Ward 24. I greet the chair and the committee. I support the bill. We have, in South Africa, we have the challenge of corruption, where members of the board are being selected by relations or knowing each other. I believe that when selecting such boards, all members of the parties must take part in the process of selecting the board. I welcome the objectives of the bill. I'm hoping that you won't privatize the railway, that because many South Africans are poor and now they are using taxis, and taxis are very expensive because they are private. I thank you.
No, thank you very much, Chairperson. This Bulsele, Engine. Ikamalam Dimtapelo from Ward 3, Upper Southern Ward. No, mine is very simple, Chairperson, and Namalungu Ako Apo. In terms of your railway lines to Upper and again, East London, they are very, very bad in terms of how the operations are working. So we would really encourage you, if Mhlamba to take a road work from here, East London Station, all the way to Tanzania stations and see the infrastructure, how is in a dire situation with stations. Because of months bagumila nemi stations, and they are not safe for anyone, particularly even Abandon. So we would really encourage board as a parliament to make sure that infrastructure is the first point before the passing of the bill. No, thank you very much.
Greetings, Chair. My name is Tapelo. I am from Ward 3 in Southern Wood, and I thank you and your team. However, railway systems here are in a bad state, and I would strongly encourage that you do take a walk and see for yourselves. And also we would encourage that before the bill is approved or passed, you do consider observing the current state of the railway systems. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we take the last speaker in this round, who may take the podium, while I just acknowledge another set of hands, if there are any, so that while he is contributing, the others can take the positions, then we can flow. Are there any other hands of people who would like to contribute? I would like to take more hands if there are any other hands. I looked this side first. This time I'm looking this side first. You are number 1. You can come forward. Any other one, the side, you are number 2, right there waving. I think I have taken everybody the side. You are number 3. You are number 4. Anybody else, the side? All right. You may, yeah.
Thank you very much. Greetings to the House. My name is Bongani Osias Moyo. I am a resident and a student here in Ward 47 of Buffalo City Municipality. Firstly, before welcoming or rejecting the bill, I just wanted to express how a bit disappointing it is that the bill does not really take into consideration the history of this country and how we even ended up with the railway system in the first place. I think if we look back to the history of this country, we know that these railways are built on the lands that belonged to communities that were misplaced and displaced through violence. So now when we are proposing such bills, we should also incorporate those communities, speaking onto how should they benefit. They should not only benefit by getting rights in these railway systems while traveling to towns for work, but they should also benefit further in terms of entrepreneurship opportunities and also in terms of corporate social responsibility from these government entities that you are discussing. Going further, I also feel as if this bill is a bit in conflict with other regulations that we have pertaining to transport in this country, because this bill seeks to promote the safety operations and also to expand on the use of the railway system so that we can use the railway system more. But however, we also have other transport regulations that also seeks to expand the road system so that we can also travel more with the roads. Another thing is also this bill is a bit also not in line with also the regional laws in terms of the railway system, because I feel as if this bill only limits us, as it says, to the South African railway system, but we know that in South Africa we also exist within SADC, and we should also be a bit in line with also the SADC regulations in terms of the railway system and also the African Union regulations in terms of the railway system and transporting the people of this continent in general. And then one last thing regarding the issue of the service providers that must be hired to come and maintain these things. I feel as if we should be able to empower the government entities by insourcing workers and training the citizens of this country so that we might have pride in our infrastructures. Because I feel as if the reason why people end up stealing the cables and the electricity power lines and even the railway steel, it's because they're not benefiting anything from these things. We feel as if these things, they only serve a purpose of transporting minerals that are being looted by the colonizers that colonized us back then in 1960 to 52. We'll keep benefiting from these infrastructures. So I feel as if the bill now should also take all those things into consideration. However, I do welcome the bill with those adjustments to be made to it. Thank you very much.
Ndiyabulisa kuParlamente, ndibulisa wonke umuntu lapha. Ndingumfundi waseBuffalo City. Ndiziva ukuba ndidanile kulo mthetho oyilwayo ngoba awuthathi ingqalelo kwimbali yelizwe ngokuxhulumelene nololiwe. Ngoba kwindawo ezihlala abantu khona ndiziva ukuthi abantu abahlalayo nabafana abasebenzisa le nkonzo yololiwe abazuzi into ngayo, ikakhulu kwinto zoshishino ababanayo inzuzo. Ndicinga uba iyaphikisana nomnye imithetho wezothutho nemigaqo yayo ngohlobo yenziwa ngalo. Ayifanelanga ke ukwazi uba isebenze lo mthetho oyilwayo ukwazi uba uvumele nale mazwe akwi-SADC areas ukuze ifikelele nakuwo. Kwabo banikeza inkonzo kufuneka ke siqaphele abantu aba bethu bahlele ezindlini abangasebenziyo ngoba baphela besenza ulwaphulo mthetho ngenxa yokuthi bayahlupheka ngekho nto abayenzayo. Mabo mabathathelwe ingqalelo xa kunikezwa izinikezi maxabiso. Enkosi.
Nam ngicela usibulisela ku portfolio committee on transport. Igama lam ndingubuntu Dikana ndisuka eWard 41. Nam ndiyayomkela kakhulu le bill broadly, but nazo indawo and skeptical about them, the bill. For instance, the issue that has been raised, the appointment of board members and the responsibility of the minister. We have seen all of these SOEs failing because the board members they appointwa proximity to a political leadership of the ANC, unfortunately, because it's the government of the day. My view, I'm sharing the same view as the other speaker here, that the portfolio committee, together with all other political parties, must be given the responsibility of appointing board members to the CEO level, so that we get competent people for those positions. And lastly, this thing that has been raised here, and Funa Sijongeni, very careful, this thing of outsourcing everything, outsourcing even the safety of our people. I-railway police, nandikhula umzekelo ungasoze uyokwenza nantoni na e-railway station because engabantu ababenoko benqwabalala ngoku-right, yabo, in terms of safety. But lastly, I've heard ndoba you have consulted with UNETLEC, ne? After public consultations. But khange ndinive nithetha intoba the other sector in the transport sector, have you actually consulted with it? Because the taxi industry might be jealous in the process, rail taking the front line. So I think you should also involve the taxi industry again for safety purposes. Thank you.
Greetings. I greet the Portfolio Committee on Transport. I am Buntu Tekana from Ward 41. Firstly, I do support the bill, however, with skepticism because of the involvement of ministers, given that the appointment is made on the grounds of political affiliation. The committee must be the one responsible for the appointment from the beginning through to the CEO. Also, I heard that reference was made to NETLEC. However, there was no particular reference to the taxi industry, and I am apprehended that the taxi industry might be jealous due to competitive issues. Therefore, I do propose and suggest that the taxi industry must be consulted. Thank you.
Greetings to the Portfolio Committee, and also greetings to the royalty that I see amongst us. I greet you. Igama lam ndimsandisile Manyoli. I am from Ward 5 in Buffalo City. I have a problem in terms of this bill. My problem is the fact that how are we talking about safety when we don't have an infrastructure? What are we protecting when we don't have an infrastructure? Pardon me again, ndifike late, so mhlawumbe ezinye izinto sezithethiwe but ndizawuthetha into le ndiyizeleyo apha. So let us first look at the infrastructure, then we can talk about indima safety, because railway zethu day in, day out, ziyathathwa intambo, ziyavandalizwa, and then we come here and talk about indima safety. That's my main problem. So let us go and fix the infrastructure, then we can come back and talk about the issue of safety. Number two, the issue of appoint a board, I think that one must come to the portfolio committee, because we've seen the issue of ESCOM. We have an energy crisis as we speak in this country because of appointed by ministers. Now let this thing is to a portfolio committee that is controlled by a multi-party thing, and also naxa ifika kulo multi-party committee makungasetyenziswa majority, because that's all the ruling party is better than majority. Now let us move the majority and infuse views from different organizations, so that we can have a proper and functioning country within our country. The last one, and for it's the issue of outsourcer. No, comrades, we need to put away this thing, because outsourcer, it's a problem. Outsourcer. Let us build a government that is able into asinike services as proper, without going to the private sector. Let us try and build this thing as our proper, because this thing of insourcing, it's a problem as we speak, because prices are used by these companies. So let us have into that is controlled by the government as our Sandoni services ebantwini. I thank you.
Jabulisa kusihlalo nekomiti yeparlamente ngiphelele. Igama lam ndinguSandisile Manyoni, Ward 5 eBuffalo City. Ndinengxaki ngalomthetho oyilwayo. Sithetha njani ngokhuseleko kodwa asinaso nesakhiwo, sikhusela ntoni singekho isakhiwo? Ngoba kololiwe kuthathwa intambo, kumoshwe yonke into phana. Umba ke wokuchongwa kwebhodi, njengoba ibhodi siyazi ukuthi iye ikhethwe ixesha elininzi, ifumana ibanamalungu amaninzi abangawomthetho lo, abangombutho lolawulayo. Ndingathanda ke ukuthi ngokufakwe imibutho emehlukeneyo izawukwazi ukuba xa kuchongwa ibhodi ichongwe ngokufanelekileyo. Masiyeke ke ukusebenzisa inkonzo zabucala zangaphandle. Ndiyabulela.
Thank you so much, Chair. Let me take the gratitude opportunity to greet the parliamentary members and the chiefs which are on my right-hand side. Wonke umntu okhoyo phakathi endlini. Igama lam ngo-Andiswa Bockveld, under Ward 34, kwilokishi yaseDimbaza, kude kufiphi neQonce. I'm very much concerned about this bill eyilwayo. According to mna apho ndisuka khona, we don't even have a railway. The last time there was a railway stations in that area, it was only the time of apartheid system. We only see that there are cables that have been installed in our area, going through Raymond Shaba and all that other side of the regions. So, and other thing is, although there are cables that are installed there, we are not much aware of what is going to happen. One time that the railway staff that has arrived to us, it was only the time they were requesting to us to give support so that those cables may not be stolen. but there is nothing that can assist us as well so that we can work in one to assist them. So this bill stating about safety mostly, but I don't see any safety even around the stations that are around Buffalo City. Cables have been stolen right, left and center. We don't see anyone who's been arrested based on the stolen cables. The other thing of the appointment of CEO is also a challenge. If you can take note of that, most of the speakers that have spoken here, that is a critical condition. It will be wise that that appointment from the minister can be taken for serious, because it may happen that appoint someone who may not even have qualifications. That what is also, it gives us a problem in South Africa, because everyone who's being appointed, some of them or most of them, they don't even have any knowledge of what they are working under. If we see as well under ESCOM, all those things that we are suffering from, because those people who were appointed, most of them, they don't even have maybe qualifications. They are not much aware of what they are working under. So the appointment of the CEO, I think it must be something that might be taken seriously, because we don't want to suffer, guys. We've been suffering for quite a long time. It's almost like 20-something years ever since we have a democracy in South Africa, but things become vain day by day. So these things, I think you have to consider that while you're gonna amend the bill, or you're gonna set this bill to be constitutional, so that of what the community have said to you based on the appointment, because we have the challenge of this appointment. Also, in terms of working relations, I think those things must also be considered by the parliamentary and the minister as well. Work relating system needs to of which there must be those people who are going to be iliso elibanzi kwinto ezifana nezomsebenzi. Inspectors must make sure that they are doing their job duly, regardless of appointing or what, and there must be isandla esifem kubaphathi nabanikezwe babene authorities zokuba baphathe kwezo ndawo, because ngoku it's like we are living in a situation whereby we don't know where we are going to, whether we're going backwards or going forward. So those things must be considered. I thank you for the bill of
Mandizibulisele igama lam ndingu-Andiswa Bokveld, ndisuka kuward 34 eDimbaza kufutshane naseQonce. Ndibulisa ipalamente neenkokheli zomthonyama. Apho ndisuka khona azikho izixhobo okanye imizila yololiwe. Sagqibela ukuyibona ngexesha le-apartheid okanye localucalulo. Qha into esibonayo thina zii-cables okanye iintambo. Kwenziwa uthethathethwano kuphela nathi xa kwakucelwa into yokuba ezi ntambo okanye ezi cables zingebiwa. Kwaye ukuxhalaba kwethu kunxulumene nokhuseleko kwezi ntambo. Okunye ukuchongwa komphathiswa okanye kwaminister makuthathele ingqalelo, kuba uminister namahlakani wakhe bayathanda ukuchonga abantu abangenazo izakhono okanye aba-unqualified. Siyayibona ke loo nto isenzeka ku-ESCOM. So ndicela into yokuba ukuchongwa kwe-CEO unikezwe iliso elibukhali, kuba sithi abasokolayo. Enye into ndicela kuqiniswe ubudlelwane phakathi kwabantu ngabantu. Enkosi.
Can we kindly request the owner of a blue car, we don't know the make, its registration is DS88YXGP. to please kindly go to your car as soon as possible. It's a blue car, registration DS88YXGP.
Thank you, Chair. Let me greet the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee and all other leaders that are here. Igama lam Boy Kalan, Ward 27, Buffalo City. Ndimela nje ungaphindi izinto sezithethiwe kodwa ke ukwamkela this bill. Kananjalo ndisithi kuyafuneka ke pha kololiwe kulomcimbi kuthethwa ngawo we-security ingabi yinto yexesha elithile nexesha elithile kodwa ke ebekhona umuntu ebekho wayithethela apha into ye-security ibe ngu-24 hours so that kuzokwazi nalento yokubiwa kwe-cables ibe nako uqwalaselo. Okunye kulandelayo endithi ndiyamkela ngakhona le bill nalo mcimbi wenkonzo apha kololiwe hayi ndingumfundisi ndisitsho kodwa aniyixhasi lento sithi zikhona inkonzo apho sihlala khona siphinde sivule inkonzo apha kuloliwe. Ndicinga uba abanye abantu iyabachaphazela loo nto kuba ke le inkululeko sikuyo yeyomntu wonke umntu unelungelo lokwenza le nto afila that irayithi kuye. Ngoku xa kuzoba namakhareji ecawe abanye abantu abazokwazi ukukhwela kula makhareji ibangele ke ngoku le nto kaloliwe ingebikho ikhwali kumntu wonke. Okokugqibela ndicinga ubana ngaba iba khange i-parliamentary committee le iyenze i-consultation khona umhlekazi bekwathetha apha kule ndima ye-consultation oonoteksi nabo okanye ezinye indlela okanye amanye amacandelo othutho ngase nabo baconsulte ukuavoida le nto ingabi ngathi abantu ngoku bafola kwicala elinye likaloliwe kuba loo nto ingenzeka ingalenza ungquzulwano phana pha. Ndiyamkela le bhili enkosi.
I greet the Parliament Committee and all the leaders here. I do welcome the bill, and I would like to comment about safety and security. Somebody did make a reference to the issue of security. However, I do want to emphasize that there must be a 24-hour security system. And secondly, I'm going to raise the issue of churches against the backdrop that even myself, I am a pastor, but we also have church members around our vicinities, but we cannot allow churches inside the train. Lastly, if the Parliament did not do a thorough or extensive consultation, I propose and recommend a further consultation in respect of the taxi drivers because it might lead or initiate conflict. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before the last speaker, my sense was that there was satisfaction of the contributions before this last group, but in case somebody had just stepped outside, they still want to contribute. I would like to acknowledge hands if there are any, so that we can go towards closure. All right, I will start right at the back with a cap. You are number 1. The next one, you are number 2. Which other is that one? Was the hand up? 3, you're number 3. You are number 4. You are number 5. You are number 6. Can we agree that those are the last hands of people who would contribute? Can I have an amen? Can I have a louder amen if we agree? Thank you. Those were the last hands. Ungaqhubeka bhuti enkosi.
Okay. Manenibulise ngaphakathi. Ndivumile ndithi ngqangana insibazana. Igama lami ndinguMasixole Shaka. Ndisuka ka Ward 26. Iward ezinze kumhlaba waseNxarhuni kumhlaba waMandlambe. Njengoba umzekelo apha sivumelana kulento yale safety sizamayo. Ndizawuza nento ethi bendibawela mna ezizitishi zibiyelwe kuqala ka sithetha ngale safety. Ukwenzela kungabi zonke indawo kuhleli nje kuyawelwa kuzo. Nabantu babe begadile izicables zibe kanti nabo ba safe because bazabe bebiyelwe. Bangasokoli kakhulu. So kulonto ke leyo kubiya kwazo iza create i-jobs lonto leyo. Kwezo jobs ke ndiphinde ndithi bendicela kungathi xa umzekelo kulungiswe izilapha eBuffalo City sive kusithiwa lo tender inikwe umuntu waseNgcobo kodwa kulungiswe eBuffalo City ngapha babe abantu belicala bezidinga ezo jobs bedinga kwanazo nezo tenders kufuna uqale ke kuchekishwa abantu abahlala kwezo areas dize kulento umzekelo nje basihlala pha kulani la kwezalala kuthiwa kuseNxarhuni kukwezitishi ezisondele kuthi pha umdantsane station iManruth iEchitin ezazitishi kakhulu abantu baseNxarhuni bebencedakala ziitrains ezikhweza pha for ukhwela for itransport. Then ke ngoyinto ephinde yenzeke siyacela kubaphathi xa ngaba umzekelo kukho ibursaries kukho imisebenzi koPras baba consideration abantwana bezalali asingqungileyo apha because ixesha elininzi abantwana bezindawo suka kuzo sibabona bengafikeleli ukuphangela kuzo kokwezi trains nindoni. Siyacela that kweza zikolo baba pay visit kweza high schools around at least ba motivate nabantwana babanike direction ukwenzela ba noko nophuhliso libe khona ezilalini ingabi lento le elicala ledolophu zodwa ixesha elininzi mandingabi mde mandihle.
I greet the House. I am Masixole Chada from Ward 26 from Nxarhuni. As we agree about the safety issue, first let us fence the railway facilities, and that will generate employment opportunities. And also when jobs are created, let us first consider people within close proximity before we consider those in other areas. Pertaining to the issue of bursaries, I do request that children from surrounding schools or high schools be considered first. That will enhance social development within those areas. Thank you.
Greetings to the House. My name is Siviwe. First and foremost, I would like to start by saying that I do support the bill, although I do see that there might be a minor problem when it comes to the security. It's not going to be a big problem, but it's a suggestion that we should look into. I do understand that PRASA has a security services hub, but we also understand that the South African Police Services have an overflow of applications, and people do get trained with the South African Police Services, and some of them do not make it to the finalization of being employed there full time. If the PRASA department can actually look into those students that were there trained by the police services to be incorporated to the security services of PRASA, at least the basic skills of the police in South Africa, they will have that instead of wasting money, retraining them on security purposes. That was my only point. Thank you.
Ndiyabulisa igama lam ndinguSiviwe Mangcu ndiyawuxhasa lo mthetho uyilwayo Ndibona ingxaki khona kwezokhuseleko xa ungasetyenziswa amapolisa. Ndikholwa ukuthi ungaze kuqeqeshwe nje oonogada abakwaPrasa basebenzisane namapolisa ngoba amapolisa abanintsi obhekene nabo unintsi umthamo womsebenzi obhekene nawo. Kodwa ke xa kunoze kuqeqeshwe oonogada bakwaPrasa kungenzeka kumehluko kwezokhuseleko. Enkosi.
Oh, ndiyabulisa ke kwibhodi yeParlamente ekhoyo namhlanje. Mna ndinguWine Kapeti. Ndilapha nje namhlanje. Ndiva kabuhlungu ngakuthi ngokuba thina singabathengisi. Singabathengisi nje noko besithengisa apha ecakwezitishi nalapha ezantsi. Ndiva kabuhlungu ke ngokulo mthetho xana thina ke ngoku singazukwazi unikwa imvume soba sithengise. Ngokuthengisa kwethu sisusa ikati eziko. Sikhulisa abantwana, siyabafundisa. Ngoku into eyenzeke iitreyini asixelelwa xa zizawuyeka naxa zizawubuya. Noko siyakhala lude olu thuba zingekho. Ndicela ubuza kubaphathi ba bathi thina senze njani ngoba asikwazi ukuya kweza ndawo kuneteksi sezinabantu bazo zothengisa. Ndicela into bakhe sibonelele sihoyeke noko nakuthi kubuhlungu ngokuba akho apho singaqeshwa khona ngoba sesingaka nithi thina sesibadala asikwazi basingaphangela. Noko kwakuhlala kwethu phasithengisa ama-orange yindlela esisusa ngayo ikati eziko. Nokuba lula kuthi ukwazi ukuze edolophini imali yetrain iyafikeleleka. Ndicela into yoba ke noko urhulumente ophetheyo noko makasiselisiso singabathengisi. Enkosi.
I greet the Board of Parliament. My name is Wine Kapeti. I am sad as we, vendors, and that we are precluded from this system. You would recall that by selling or trading, we eradicate poverty. And my question is, what should we do? Because we do not have places to sell, and other places are already occupied. And you will remember that at my age, we are not even employable. So I would like to know what is being done for us. Thank you.
Afternoon Parliamentary Board. Igama lam ndinguSandile Mqwashini kwa Ward 22 eMdantsane. Ndinemibuzo okanye i-contributions ezimbini qha. Okokuqala ukhe uqwalasele xa itrain ihamba. Iyakwazi itrain ngokuhambayo ithi somewhere along the line ivele ime out of the blue. And ngokunipha ngaphakathi kuyo ningabina information nokuba kwenzeka ntoni na. Amaxesha amaninzi ke loo nto iyayiphosa i-danger ubona abantu betsiba babaleke nje phakathi estation because abayazi bathi bontrain imile and bayaphangela balate emsebenzini and there's no information conveyed to them. So namhlanje kokwambi ukuphakamisa into ethi ke iqwalaselwe loo nto in the near future xa itrains izawubuya ngoku. So that abantu bayixelelwe xa izawuma, if izawuma for how long, bakwazi ukwenza amacebo around that. So ndiyakhala ke noba ibe khona into eyenziwayo noba i-communication system ngaphakathi etraining that conveys that message ebantwini easily and quickly. Number two, itrain likhona ixesha encinga iyalithatha xa isandofika estation izawuhamba. Kuba khama xesha apho where I feel ingathi ifike yamkamsinyane. As a result of that ubone kukhona abayisukelayo ngokuhambayo bonzakalele kuloo nto. Mhlawumbi ukuba yi-10 minutes 15 minutes bendirhalela into yoba ikhiqwalaselwe loo nto kule bill yenziwayo ngoku not that mhlawumbi ke ndifuna landiso but ijonge because abantu abaninzi bayayisebenzisa itrain apha eEast London kakhulu xa kuphangelwayo because in terms of price reasonable kakhulu. So ndiyarhala ukhe ijongwe lento ye-time frame xa isandofika estation mingaphi imizuzu ithathayo before ihambe so that kukwazi kunqandwe ukwenzakala kwabantu. Mhlawumbi bikhona nalapho indlela ye-communication enothi yenziwe to say itrain izahamba bangakhweli bantu because abanye babona beyisukela ide ibe ngathi izawuphuma nakwi-platform le ikuyo. So besithi ke make ndiphakame ndizisenje ezo nto zimbini enkosi.
Greetings to the Parliament. My name is Sandile Mkwasini, Ward 22 in Tanzania. I have two questions or contributions. I have a concern that when the train travels, it will just stop without being told why is it stopping or how long it will take as it has stopped. Some people, it will impose danger on people because some people will jump out of the plane while it's in the middle of nowhere. Secondly, I would like to comment in the issue that sometimes we know that when a train operates, there's a time set for it to depart, but sometimes it will depart before the time that was set. And people will just push one another to get there and will avoid that people will be getting injured. So I would like you to consider the issue of time of departure so that people won't get injured. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairman and his members of the Parliament. I've got some issues here, Mr. Chair, and questions. Okay, the first question I would like to ask, what happened with the ghost stuff of Prasa? There was an investigation, and I've been following that investigation, but there's no breakthrough. I would really want to know what happened with the investigation. And according to the clause regarding the permit, who all can apply for the training? And I've got another one, Mr. Chair. We advise Parliament to have road shows in all the areas of aware of the youth regarding job creation and training. We want to bring the Parliament's attention to our scrapyards to close all the criminals violation our railway lines and the benefiting of those criminals. That's all, Mr. Thank you.
I greet the Chair and the members of Parliament. I have questions, and question one is, what happened to the investigation that was underway at Prasa? Because at some point I was following the investigation, but I do not recall.
Sorry, I think he was speaking English.
Umbuzo wokuqala uthi and now kwakukho uphando olwalusenzeka kwaPrasa and ndandilulwandela kodwa ke ndalahleka kuba andazi balwaphelela phi. Ngako oko bendicela ukubuza kumalungu eParlament uba olophando lundawoni na. Umbuzo wesibini endinawo onxulumene nokwenza isindululo into yokuba iParlamente ijonge umba wokwenziwa kwemisebenzi ingakumbi kwabantu abahlelelekileyo. Enkosi.
I greet you, Mr. Chair, the
board members of parliament. I'm Chief Christo Reiters from the Griqua Royal Council. I have one thing that I want to ask is, can Parliament make it clear who can apply for that permit, and have roadshows in our areas to bring awareness to our youth and elders for training and employment in businesses? Thank you.
Greetings to the Parliament and the Diabulisa kwi-Parliament na kwi-committee yayo. Igama lam ndinguChristo Reiters from Magriqua. Ndicela nje ucacisela uba ngubani ofanele ukuba afake isicelo. Sinokufakwa bani onokulungela ukuthi afakele isicelo semvume yosokhuseleko kwezololiwe. Ndiyabulela.
Mandibulise kwiParlamente ngobubanzi, ndibulise kwiportfolios zonke ngobubanzi Nkosi. No, mna ndizawuthetha nje izinto ezimbini, ndihlale phansi amaqabane ngathi seyigqibile. Ndiyawamkela umthetho lo le bill. Ndiyamkela ngezandla ezishushu futhi. But ndine problem nalo mthetho because uchukumise indaba ye safety, of which as much as babe besebetshilo amaqabana ngaphambili that ingaba le safety iza kwenziwa phi kungekho structures, because ndinguDumsani ndisuke iward 12 kwa 1 eMdantsane station uphahla le nansikele roof zisukile and at the same time cables azikho. Eyona nto ingamandla bendizayichaphazela mphathiswa xa nihlalela le bill. Enza kwenza umzekelo ngesitishi esise-Lone 3. Isitishi esise-Lone 3 asiyifavor yabantu bakuthi, kufutshane neNtabozuko. Ngokokujonga i-distance, we suppose as a station siya remove to fitshane ne-dumping site eyiNtabozuko dumping site phambi kwegate yaseNqonqweni, because if sinoqaphela abantu sizawuthi abantu sibajonge i-safety yabo xa bengaphakathi ku-metro rails, but xa besuka bathatha i-distance ende behamba ematyholweni, bambi xa beleqa itrain bagiliswa zimoto. So loo nto leyo ndicinga uba ingaske khe niyiqwalasele further, because aba bantu abakhuselekanga, khe nijonge kubo kuqala, because kwakukudala unantsika umetro rail esithi uzasondeza isitishi, and at the same time kwa esa sitishi siyi-Lone 3 ayiso sitishi nani xa ninothatha iwalk niyasibona, ayiso sitishi sinoba singaba kanti sisitishi esikhwela abantu. Enkosi.
I am Dumisani Kyabonki from Ward 12, Kwa1 in Mdantsane. I greet the chair and the members of the parliament. I will speak on two issues. I must indicate that I support and welcome the bill, but I have a problem with the implementation of it owing to the fact that there are no systems or structures as yet. Secondly, the issue of laundry stop does not favor or cater for people from Tabozuko, and therefore it should be moved near for those people, given that they travel considerable long distances, and that poses dangers for them, such as being involved in accidents. And I therefore propose that the railway station be moved nearer for those people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I ask that we give all our contributors and all of us a big round of applause? Thank you very much to each and everyone who had the courage to give your inputs. We truly appreciate it.
Sibulela wo wonke umuntu ke waza phambili wazonikeza izimvo zakhe. Sibulela kakhulu.
I will repeat something I said at the beginning as I try and explain what will happen from here going forward.
Ndizawuphinda ke into ebengikhe ndayitsho ngaphambili njengoba ngicacisa ukuthi sizoqhubeka sithini ngokusukela kule ndawo.
Because I think the majority of people who are here now were not here when I introduced the issue.
Ndiyacinga uba ke abantu abaninzi bebengekho ngelaa xesha bendithetha ngaphambili.
What I said, which I'm repeating now, is that if you didn't speak or you came, you were not late, you were delayed, and therefore you couldn't really contribute, it is not all lost.
Benditheke ngaphambili ukuba ke ubuye wa late okanye wafika late okanye khona phula baseke khona ayingxaka ayikho uzawukwazi ukuthi ungayifaka uluvo lwakho.
The process of written submissions is still open.
Kusavulekile kuba ungabhala phansi koko ofuna ukuthetha.
On my extreme left, your right, against the wall there.
Apha ngasenene kwam ekhohlo kuni.
Those are parliamentary staff who are able and willing to take your written comments, or they can give you a form which will indicate with an email address where you can send your written submission at a later stage.
Ngabasebenzi ke abaphethe amaphepha abaza ukunikeza wona ubhale phansi enayo email address apho uzawukwazi ukuthi ungabhala uluvo lwakho uzawukwazi uthumela khona.
So that process is still open. If you didn't have an opportunity, it's not all lost once more.
Isavulekile nalo nkqubo ke uba uthafuna ukwenza njalo ingxaka ayikho.
The question that always arises after we have come here, we have spoken so much, what then happens of our inputs?
Umbuzo kuyeba khona ukuthi senziwa ntoni izimvo zethu emva loba sesigqibile uthetha.
This province is the 6th province we are visiting today, and this is our last day in the Eastern Cape.
Eliphondo ke liphondo lesithandathu esesasebenza kulo lusuku lokugqibela ke namhlanje kweliphondo.
We have Free State, Northern Cape and Western Cape we are still going to do.
Sesazaya Free State and Northern Cape nase Western Cape.
Once we are done, the other thing, sorry, before I go to once we are done, part of what they are doing there, other than the form I explained, is to capture every input that has been made.
Enye into abayenza abasebenzi baseParliament kushicilela yonke uluvo oluthe lwabekwa kule ndawo.
There are also recordings so that they can go back and listen if there are anything they might have missed.
Kukhona ushicilelo elikhoyo ukuthi bangabuyela umva bajonge bamamele ukuba bakhona into yebayilibala.
So that makes sure that there is nobody who spoke and whatever they spoke has not been recorded.
Niyazi ukuthi yonke into ibithethiwe iye yashicilelwa.
So once we go back, after we do the last 3 provinces, there will be a consolidation of all these inputs from 9 provinces.
Xa sesigqibile ke wonke lo msebenzi sesiye saya kuwo wonke amaphondo athoba sizawudibanisa zonke ezingxelo.
There are 2 things in the main that have come out so far.
Sikhona ke izinto ezimbini eziye zabalesela.
There are inputs that are specific to the bill as I introduced it.
Bekhona ke izimvo ebezikhokhele kulomthetho oyilwayo.
There are also inputs that are very good inputs and comments but do not have space in the rail safety bill.
Zikhona ke izimvo ezilungileyo kodwa ke ezinganalo indawo kulomthetho sithetha ngawo.
Our priority will be those that are related to this bill so that we produce a report which we must discuss amongst ourselves, then submit to the National Assembly.
Esaqala kuwo ke ngazezi zimvo ezibhekiselele kulomthetho oyilwayo wezokhuseleko esakwenza ingxelo ngawo sibe siyahambisa.
those that are outside the ambit of the bill before us,
Oko ke bekuthethiwe okungechaphazeli lo mthetho lo sithetha ngawo namhlanje.
those that affect us as this portfolio committee on transport, we will look into them and see how we process them going forward.
Oko ke buzawuthetha ngalo mthetho yilayo besithetha ngayo sizawuqwalasela sijongisise sithathe ingqalelo kuzo zonke into bezithethe ngayo lo mthetho yilwayo.
For example, in all our visits, we have representatives from PRASA.
Umzekelo ke kuwo wonke okuhamba kwethu sibe nabo abantu abamele abasuka kwaPrasa.
They are taking notes.
Babhala phansi.
We expect them to come and tell us what they are going to do with all what people have raised so far.
Silindele bona ke basichazela ukuthi baza kwenza ntoni ngezinto abantu bathethe ngazo.
So don't think whatever you have said that is not in the bill will be lost. That is just an example.
Ungacinga ukuthi yonke into ke ibithethwa kule nto izawulahleka nje kumzekelo lo nje ondinika wona lo.
Once the committee has adopted a report either supporting this bill to be taken forward or whatever we'll agree on, we'll submit a report to the National Assembly.
Sawuthi ke xa sesigqibile sesidibanise yonke le ngxelo sizayihambisa siyise kumthetho indlu yowisa umthetho.
Once and if the National Assembly adopts our report in support of this bill, we then pass it on to the National Council of Provinces.
Ukuba ke indlu yowisa umthetho uyawamkela lo mthetho yilwayo izawuthatha ke udlulisele kwiqumrhu lesizwe iqumrhu lesizwe lomgaqo siseko.
Yona leyo National Council of Provinces. That is why I made that distinction earlier between the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. Because both these houses have got a different role to play. Once the National Council of Provinces have exhausted their process, they are satisfied with this bill to be passed,
the National Council of Provinces
they will then pass it on to the state president to sign it into law. That is the process from our public hearings to the end. It is our desire that we could conclude this piece of legislation before our term ends in Parliament. However, if we can't do that, the next Parliament will certainly take it where we left it and conclude it. So we thank you once more for coming out on a Sunday morning and making your contributions. We look forward to your additional written comments, should you have any, in the way that I have advised earlier on. At this point, we would like to bring this meeting to a conclusion. There is lunch that will be served. We kindly request that you remain seated so that you can be then directed as to where and how you will be served. The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you very much.